As 2020 continues, houses from hell. Here's Jim Avila.
Here comes the scream.
It's 1 a.m. and Nidia Rainier is about to go through the roof.
I just want to go to sleep.
What's keeping her up? It's this armada of cargo planes, making the final approach to Louisville International and turning Nidia's 3-bedroom home into a bona fide house from hell. This tale of woe began when Nidia and her family moved from bustling Chicago for a more serene lifestyle in Louisville, Kentucky.
It's a great neighborhood and the people here are so nice.
The not so nice part? It's 2 miles away from the airport.
I know that people who are watching this are going to say,
Sure.
You didn't know there was an airport there?
When we came to see the house, it was in the middle of the day, and we just got lucky. There wasn't a plane.
Going right over
yeah,
top.
and that's pretty high up. I think I could live with that, but that's not what we get around here at night.
35 left, down to 6,000. 180 from the VOR for the downwind. 060 target.
But wait a minute, didn't the sellers have to disclose all that?
They didn't have to tell us. Some people maybe just are more desperate to sell the house than they are to do right by other people.
Most people take care of themselves.
Real estate mogul Barbara Corcoran says, make sure to check out a house more than once.
Go back and visit the house at different times. They would have heard those planes overhead if they had had the good judgment to go back at a different time of day.
The good news, the airport and the FAA pay for houses inside a certain noise zone to get soundproof.
And we replace out windows and doors, provide attic insulation.
The bad news, Nidia's home is exactly 9 houses beyond that cutoff line.
So you get nothing?
Nothing.
This guy across the street here,
He'll get
new
soundproofing.
windows?
Yep.
Nidia has complained to the airport. Their response, a polite but firm, tough luck.
I can't go to that next block. The FAA won't approve that.
What I just heard was, we've talked to her, but we're not helping her. She's 9 houses away from the line, and we can't do it.
That's correct.
If it's any consolation to Nidia, things could be worse. Check out this rambunctious raccoon that's made himself at home, as seen on Animal Planet. Shocked? Then you'd feel right at home in the Pound Ridge, New York house of Dr. Harold and Millie Mendelson.
There's something wrong here. I was just zapped.
The Mendelsons say their 6-acre estate has been converted into a house of horrors by this humongous power station adjoining their backyard. That's the hum of the transformer you hear.
When you first moved in, why didn't you think this would be a problem?
This thing is 3 times what the size was when we moved in.
They claim stray voltage has shocked them repeatedly, generating intense headaches and a fear so strong they've refashioned their lives with rubber in the bedroom.
He went to a surgical store and he got rubber sheets.
The bathroom.
When I take a shower, I wear rubber shoes.
And even the kitchen.
I don't even want to use this faucet at all. Yes.
Here we go, Millie.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Here we go, Millie.
Jim, I wouldn't do that. Jim,
The couple is suing their power company, which denies they're entitled to any damages. At least the Mendelsons had decades of domestic bliss here before things got so revolting. But across the country in southern Oregon, Jonathan and Beth Hankins got a rude awakening just weeks after moving into their foreclosed fixer-upper.
One of the things it says right there in big bold letters is "as is." Did that scare you a little bit?
But overall, the house had great bones. Little did we know that those bones would be contaminated and poisonous.
Toxic.
After weeks of do-it-yourself home improvements, this little house revealed its dirty, dangerous secret.
There was a really strong odor.
Beth had mouth sores. I was getting dry mouth, nosebleeds.
The symptoms were similar to side effects experienced by crystal meth users. And sure enough, a neighbor revealed this little fixer-upper was a not-too-long-ago suspected meth lab. Police knew the house well.
Well, we've been to this house several times. We made undercover narcotics buys, purchased drugs on at least 3 separate occasions.
This is the now deceased homeowner's mugshot, a reminder, don't do drugs. You may have seen it before on Breaking Bad, that hit show about meth dealers. They use a super lab with super ventilation. But in the real world, home cooking leaves behind such high levels of poison, We had to put on hazmat suits to conduct this standard test.
3 drops. We'll have the result in about a minute. Yeah, it's positive.
It's positive for methamphetamine residue.
Yeah.
Months later, it's still everywhere.
Contractors that specialize in clandestine meth lab cleanup have quoted us costs that are more than what the house is even worth.
Lawyers told him to walk away quietly because it's only illegal to sell a house with a problem if you know there is a problem.
It must be heartbreaking to have to do all that work and then walk away.
Absolutely, yeah. It's horrifying. It's like a nightmare.
And to think that we unknowingly exposed our 2-year-old to that. Hopefully we got out soon enough.
All Jonathan Beth had to do was talk to the neighbor. Every neighbor who's next door to meth house knows what's going on.
The Hankins continue to pay the loan on their empty home and rent a second house to live in. Not exactly the second home this young couple had in mind.
And I guess the $62,000 question is, will you ever buy another house?
Home ownership is the American dream, right? And when your dream becomes a nightmare, it makes it really hard to want to go back and start all over again.